Fine, get the key and get the both of you out of here. Wait, I still don't get why you're helping me, Tuscan stated bluntly, a cautious and suspicious look falling over his face as he faced off against him again. He grit his teeth, frustration flashing through his system and out of his control. This again? Is it not enough to just help you escape? No, not if I never gave you reason to. How am I supposed to believe you mean well when you didn't prove it? For all I know, you could have guys just right outside that door. If that were the case, they'd be inside the mop by now. You said yourself the door locks from the outside. Well, a sudden crash silenced the argument boiling between the two men, and they flinched under the rain of several sharp glass shards. Their attention went from the cries and continued clashing of voices outside the mart, as it became more audible, and straight upon the clink, 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 and roll of a bottle as it came upon their feet. They both froze at the sight of a burning cloth dangling from outside the top of the bottle, that only drew closer and closer to inevitable destruction. And once again, time went slow for him, and yet his thoughts and mind picked up pace to what most would think would be a migraine-inducing agony. Numerous thoughts passed through his head, but he was capable of processing a couple select few things: Molotov cocktail, no escape, and death. His eyes instantly flashed with the same lightning speed and landed on the counter on Tuscan's side. There was just one thing that remained in his mind, and acting on instinct, charged straight at Tuscan. The said man was stunned still at the same dreadful object, but was dragged forcibly back from his stupor when hands clasped harshly onto his shoulders, and he lashed out from his own instinct. Yet he wasn't able to overpower him, despite the definite rush of his own adrenaline, but it was probably due to the lingering shock. In one swift movement, he threw the shorter male over the countertop quickly before he turned to face what lay ahead of him. And in a flash and thunderous roar, bright, blinding tones of white, yellow, and orange invaded his vision, and excruciating, blistering heat exploded below his feet before mercilessly wrapping around him and growing intensely with more heat. He barely felt the ground underneath his feet, but he was thrown into the air long before realizing that fact at all. But just as quickly as the heat and agony appeared, its persistence didn't last long, and actually felt a new and actually pleasant warmth sink through his entire being and seeped straight to his core. Caleb opened his eyes, but squinted them when a bright light continued to beam down onto him. Soon, though, he was able to adjust his eyes to see a bit more around him from under the pale gold glow. Or was it around him? The sound of soft humming caught his thoughts before melting them away to bliss and nostalgia as he remembered his mother, and the scent of apple pie invaded his senses. Caleb knew he was going home. He wanted to see his mother again and just remember how things used to be, and he realized now was the perfect time to do so. So without an ounce of hesitation, Caleb made straight for the soft light and hug equivalent of warmth, and where the melodic singing became louder and louder.